you've trained a lot of women.
Yeah.
You've trained a lot of men though too.
Yeah.
So if you had to choose between men and women, who would you rather choose to train?
I think I'm better at coaching women than I am men. I just have more compassion towards women. And I've thought about this quite a bit. So for me growing up, I don't do this now, but for me growing up, I was basically a hood rat with no parental guidance. And I was so hard on myself mentally that any mistake, there was just not, I just could not accept any mistake. You fucking pussy. I was just so mentally hard on myself, which is not recommended. You can get places, but you won't be happy about doing it. And so when I coach men, let's say like a man who misses a big lift in training, that like initial reaction in my brain is like, you fucking bitch. And it's like, I don't say that out loud, but I think my body language might express that.
Yeah.
Where women, when they miss a big lift, my initial reaction is like, oh, it's okay. Come here. It's okay. I still love you.
Yeah,
you know, like it's just that initial reaction. I mean, I'm going to crack the whip on both of them, but it's just that initial just reaction to how it is. Like I feel much more compassionate towards women versus men. Also, I think my style, you know, I mean, I crack the whip on people, and I think a lot of times men might feel like emasculated. I think that's the worst thing from a coaching standpoint. That's the worst thing you can do to a man is make them feel emasculated.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just a different style but for me, I was so hard on myself that if I say that same thing to a man that I would say to myself, a lot of times they don't like that, and they'll continue to work for you, but that lives in their brain for a while, and it starts to slowly build some resent over time. And also, it's a lot of times it's like this like locking of horns, like alpha male thing. It's like, dude, listen, I'm the coach. I'm smarter than you. That's why you hired me to be your coach. I'm better. I'm smarter. If you listen to me, you're going to go to the place where you want to go. And a lot of times men, it's this like alpha male battle of like, oh, I need more dumbbell rows. It's like, no, you don't. If you did, I would put them in there. Where I feel like women are just like, they listen better, at least to me, you know. And as far as me working with women where I'm not in a power position, I prefer to work with women, you know. I'd rather have a female boss than a male boss, because I can feel the same thing where I'm like, it becomes this like competitive thing where like, don't talk to me like that, motherfucker. Where a woman, I'm much more like, that's cute. I'll listen to you. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I think there's a little bit more respect there. But for dudes, I don't know. That's just how it is. But I enjoy both. I've had success with both. But at the end of the day, if you're a champion, you're going to take criticism. It doesn't matter how I say it. And sometimes it needs to be done right here, right now. And the whip needs to be cracked now, because you're doing something that we don't have time. Like, well, you know, it could just be done maybe a little bit better like this. And it would really make me feel this way if you did it like this. Like, no, fucking do this now. Like, we don't have time. Like, you're in the middle of a set that you could hurt yourself. Do this or do that, you're doing someone else is someone else is about to go do a set, and you're being a distraction. That's the worst thing you could do, is be a distraction to your teammates on things that are really dangerous that could hurt them. So if you become a distraction, you're gonna get the whip cracked right away. And I don't care if it hurts your feelings. If you can't handle that, then get the fuck out of here.
So like, out of everybody on the team that you've obviously witnessed, like, who do you think pulls up the hardest?
Out of everybody so far?
Everybody so far. It's been a good handful.
Yeah.
It could be like prehistoric me, you know, it doesn't have to be when I was in, but
yeah, no, I mean,
yeah.
Obviously things are a little different now, but I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due. I mean, I think Bree just lifted harder than anybody, and that's why she's in the position that she's in. That's why she's better than everybody, you know. But that's in my like current coaching career. But yeah, I mean, she definitely went harder. She showed up. I mean, she was a pain in the ass to coach, but like she did the things that I told her to do, and that's why she's in the position that she's in. You know, she killed it. She went hard. She pulled up every single time. You know, to get her to do that, sometimes you know, you had to put a boot on her neck, but like that's how it goes. I don't listen. I don't mind confrontation. I don't mind battles. I don't mind like any of that stuff as long as you do the work. You know, over the last 15 years of me coaching, I've just been straight verbally abused on the regular. It doesn't bother me as long as you do the work. But if you're going to talk some shit and then not do the work, then like Get the fuck.
You know,
Don't talk to me like that.
yeah, that's
you know?
crazy though, because like I remember having a coach, and dude, in high school, I was actually like, we were actually on ice. I was late to practice, so what they made me do is I was a goalie in hockey. So what they would make me do is two coaches would jump on a goalie net. I'd be pushing them back and forth on ice the whole practice, right? So while I was pushing them, I'm like, "You guys are such assholes," just joking around, dude, just kind of talking to them like they're my boys. And they just kind of looked at me, and I was like, I don't know if I shouldn't have said that. Like, after practice, they come up to me. They're like, yeah, it's like, you do not disrespect us like that. I was like, oh, fuck. So, dude, before I could leave, I had to do 300 burpees. It's like,
Yeah, that sucks.
oh my
Dude,
God.
yeah, I mean, I think that like in the heat of the moment, from a coaching standpoint, in the heat of the moment, you kind of got to take some verbal abuse sometimes, and you got to look through how they're saying it, what are they really saying, and okay, let me address what they're really saying, because a lot of times, dude, if they're that passionate about something that they're going to be popping off, like I'm okay with that. Like you can pop off, and we'll address this issue right now. Later, we'll have the talk of like, motherfucker, don't talk to me like that ever again. But like right here, right now, it's like if I bring that aspect in, don't talk to me like that, it's just gonna make things blow up because they're obviously triggered, they're freaking out, they're like, you know, really aggressive environment, really aggressive people. I don't want to create war. I want solutions, but they need to
Depends
know
on
that I
what
will
time
go to
of the
war.
month it is, though.
Honestly,
Could
I
be
don't really.
war.
To me, I don't really notice too much of it. I mean, sometimes.
Is it a
but-
full moon? Is it a half moon? Is it what?
Yeah. I haven't really noticed much of a difference with that.
Yeah.
I think that most women that I've coached that are high level anyway,
Oh, no, so
they're
you,
just
yeah,
always
so,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that it's more of like the triggers that make them just freak out are just happen when they happen.
Yeah. So you'd rather train women, is what you're saying, versus men?
Yeah, I think so.
So
It depends. No, honestly,
All right.
it really
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter that much to me. It's more about the individual. I'd rather train an individual who's all in and wants to be a champion, and I don't have to teach them the basics. Right. So in my previous coaching career, basically I've had 2 coaching careers. I've owned my own gym. I got an exercise science degree. So we'll rewind it all the way. Out of high school, I had an engineering scholarship. I was expelled from school. We'll get into that another time. I was expelled from school. And I went back to school for physics and math, where I did that for 3 years. Top of my class, 4.0, no big deal. And then I dropped out, and my mom didn't talk to me for a year. So then I went back to school for exercise science. And I graduated that, then I started my own gym, whatever. So I was coaching really, really high-level athletes back then. So these are athletes where everybody was their hometown hero, smashed all their school records, smashed all their college records, you know, national champions in college. Now I'm teaching how to be a professional. So there's just different things that I had to teach them. It's more fine tuning and polishing an athlete. And I didn't have to be like, you have to show up on time. Of course you have to show up on time. So my second career, I sold my gym, moved to Hawaii, went back to school in Tennessee, got my master's degree in biomechanics, which is basically the math and physics of how the body works. It kind of like came full circle. And then I started coaching again. I was like, well, I could live off my coaching highlights from before, but I don't want to do that. I'll just do it again. And the people that were on the team the second time around were not high-level athletes. They were not hometown heroes. They did not smash every school record. They're not in their school newspaper or their local newspaper. They weren't state champions. They weren't college champions. And I just, by force and sheer will, turned them into killers, right? So the coaching was just different the second time around, where I had to be much better at coaching from like an emotional intelligence standpoint, where before it was like, do this, okay, done. So I had to be a lot smarter from like the academic standpoint, because they would pretty much do whatever I told them to do. Now, I'm not saying we didn't have explosions and full on like kicking chalk buckets entirely across the gym, and I mean, there was they're emotional and they're really aggressive, and that's just how it goes. That's fine by me, but it was just a different type of coaching, because they were already they already knew the discipline and what it takes to be at that level. I just had to fine tune them. Now do this specific thing, do it specifically like this.
Yeah.
Go home, you're fatigued and you look like dog shit. Go home and rest. Rest is what you need right now, not more intensity than be in the parking lot ripping out push-ups and bicep curls. And what the fuck are you doing? Where the second time around was like, you need to show up on time. Like, we had a girl move here from out of state, and I told her, I was like, all right, we show up at 8 o'clock. Don't be late. This is the day before. She's already moved here. I've never met her in person ever in my life. Hey, we show up at 8 o'clock. Don't be late. Told her 2 times the day before. She shows up at 8:08. Oh, hi. Nice to meet you. And I was like, you're late. She's like, oh, hi. I was like, no, you're fucking late. Don't ever be late ever again. The look in her eyes was like, what did I just get myself into?
I won't forget that day, dude. I remember that.
I'll never forget that day
I was
either.
sitting there like, ooh, that's not good. Like, I heard you already pissed before she even came in. I was like, this isn't
She's
good.
gonna get
It's
chewed
not a
out
good
day
look.
one. If
She's
you
gonna get
think
fucked up right
that
now.
I'm gonna like, oh, it's day one. No, this is the standard. That's how it goes. It's that simple. So people are like, oh, I'm trying my best. Like, I don't give a fuck. You need to do what's required of you to win. Those are 2 entirely different things. Now, every day, your best is going to be different day to day, right? But like, you need to do what's required of you to win. And if you can't show up to the place that you're going to be every single day on time, you just don't have the skill set to be a champion. Now, I get it. Day one, whatever. But like, that was more of just like setting the tone of, this is how things roll here. We do not fucking play games. Show up on time or you will get your ass chewed out every single day until you do, or you'll just be gone.